Yeah, sure. So we broke down sprints according to the amount of total time we had. So as I said, round one, we had 1 month. And in fact, we started a bit late. The competition itself started on the 1st of April and we started on the 6th. So we did lose some days, and then we were going into a deadline on the 1st of May. So we broke it up into roughly 5-day sprints. So what that would mean is on the first day, we would have something called sprint planning, where we would go in and as a team, as many people who were available as possible in this remote setting, of course. So we usually had probably more than a dozen, possibly 15 out of the 60 members coming to the sprint planning meeting. And we would use that time to collaborate on exactly what outcomes we expected for the next 5 days. So we tried to be as specific as possible with the outcomes and then try to understand exactly what work or what tasks needed to go into creating that outcome. So we would have spent about an hour doing that and then set up the backlog with these tasks and with all the documents that are needed. Then throughout the sprint, in some cases, some teams found it necessary to meet. And again, it didn't mean the entire team met, but possibly 3 to 5 people would meet up, hopefully at the same time, and try to brainstorm together and work together. Or it could have meant that people just worked completely asynchronously on their own. And then at the end of the 5 days, basically on the last day, we would have something called a sprint review. And this was a great time for the entire team, and especially the project management team, to get an idea of all the work that was done during the sprint. During the sprint review, we would talk about the process, if there was anything that needed to be included. So for instance, if you needed more synchronous meetings where the work just couldn't get done with people working at different times, so we can troubleshoot that at that point in the sprint review. But we also looked at all the work that was completed. And then we basically would have related it back to those outcomes that we defined in sprint planning to understand if we met it, if we need to do it again for the next sprint, or how do we move on from there. And then we would repeat it all over again.